Hello, I'm Prince Mario-Max Schaumburg-Lippe. I'm a European royal prince that is also a global peace ambassador in the United States. I'm very, very happy to be on the Kim Sorrelle show because I'm going to share secrets of my 1,100-year-old family history that I've never shared before. I'm going to talk very personal and very private, and you're going to hear things you never even knew about Prince Mario-Max exclusively on the Kim Sorrelle show. Your Prince Mario-Max.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited too. Let me tell you, you doing good? Everything's good?
Yes, fabulous.
Good. Glad to hear. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about my show so you know what to expect, and then we'll just have fun. I record for about an hour. Does that work for you? Just kind of go like this if you got to go or something, I guess, or whatever. So my show is all about inspiration, about being a bright light in somebody's day. So I don't talk negative stuff. Like I don't talk ever about anything like politics in the US that's going to make anybody feel like they're less than somebody else or more than somebody else. I just really believe that if everybody just loved everybody, we would live in a whole better place. And so that's my philosophy in life. And so I know too, when people know you, they're going to want to follow you. They're going to want to know more about you. They're going to want to go to anything you have or buy anything you have to sell or, whatever. And you're so perfect for my show because we share the same philosophies. And I know that your heart is just love people. I mean,
Yes.
that's what it's about. So yeah, so I love it. So anyway, so I start with your story. So I, ask the first question, just kind of leading into your story, and then we just have a conversation and
Perfect.
go wherever it goes. That sounds good?
Perfect. One
Okay, all
moment.
right.
One moment. One moment.
Yeah. And then my office manager, Mac is his name. He or somebody from my office will be
Yes.
in touch with you to let you know when it will be released and
Perfect.
if you need any reels or shorts or
Ah, great.
or
Yes.
anything at all, he'll give it all to you. So
Thank you, Kim.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so I'm just gonna breathe and we're gonna start. If that sounds good. Okay, all right. So here we go. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. You are going to be so happy that you are here. I'm Kim Sorrelle. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. Recently, I got to speak at the United Nations. That's where I met today's guest. I get to do so many fun things in life, but my favorite thing to do by far is to meet people. And I get to meet some of the world's most extraordinary people. And today is absolutely no exception to that. I have His Highness Prince Dr. Mario-Max Schaumburg-Lippe with me today. He is the greatest prince I've ever met. Not that I'm
Oh,
not a princess, but I'm telling you, he's an astounding man. He's astonishing. He's got several law degrees because different countries require different law degrees. He's an actor, a producer. He is one of the best dressers I've ever seen in my life. He's an event host. He writes a column. He does kind of anything you name, he does it. And I love what you say, never stop moving is the philosophy. And I can't see how we ever can stop moving. You're gonna love him as much as I do. Prince, welcome to the show.
hello. Thank you so much, Kim, for having me. Yeah, I'm excited because we really had a wonderful time at the United Nations. And a little pre-story. I was asked to join a great organization, the Institute of Diplomacy, last year as a global peace ambassador. And as my home, the United States of America now, they asked me, would you love to represent the US at the Institute of Diplomacy? And I said, I would be thrilled to do so. And we had a fabulous year. from last year to this year at the UN with a lot of amazing meetings and causes. And I will come back to that a little later, what my favorite causes are. And then this year, when my year as Global Peace Ambassador of the Year was due, I am the one that can name the next one. So I assign the next one. And I nominated a very special person, my mother, Her Highness Princess Antonia, and they asked me to join the board because they didn't want to let me go. So that's my UN story. And we met at the UN at a fabulous and very relevant top level function where we were discussing global peace. And that's one of my most important topics. And I want to reach out a little bit about my family history. So, my family was the founding family of Hamburg in Germany, which is Germany's most relevant city. And next to that, I have another ancestry because my father's mom is Princess Feodora of Denmark. And so we also come from the oldest monarchy in Europe, from the oldest royal family. And the first ancestor on that lineage is King Gorm the Old. And we're speaking about the year 936. And the second one in this lineage is a very famous one because that is King Harald Bluetooth. And King Harald Bluetooth, my ancestor, is the name giver to the Bluetooth technology. And for a very important reason, he was a pacifier. He brought the Nordic tribes, the Viking tribes, together, peacefully together. He united them, he linked them, and when they developed Bluetooth technology that links your phone with your computer and with Apple and with Microsoft and with your cameras at the house and with your car, when they developed this technology, they said, we have something that links the people, that brings all the technologies together. Who was the first person in mankind who brought everyone together? And that's my ancestor, King Harald Bluetooth, and the famous bee with the edges. That is actually his family insignia, and that's found on his memorial stone up in Scandinavia. So I have this bringing people together, and I have this peacekeeping in my family since more than 1,000 years. And my father, Prince Valdemar, served the crown. He had the diplomatic passport, was a royal court photographer, but also an author who was a custodian of history and one of the most brilliant people I ever had in my life, next to him being my beloved father. So Prince Valdemar and my mother, Princess Antonia, who is a power woman. She's one of those ladies that first went to study veterinary medicine to protect the animals, and then she had her own clinic. And then she became a royal princess and she became a politician, was elected by the people to change the laws so the animals get protection. And she was such a doer. And another very significant moment in my mom's life that really opened my mind up is they said to her, oh, you're just a veterinarian helping the animals, but we are the lawyers. We know so much more. You have no idea. So my mother secretly studied law, and then she was one of those lawyers. And at the next meeting, where the lawmakers would tell her, well, you're just a veterinarian, she would tell them, well, I'm a colleague of yours now. So let's talk law, take action, and change the law. Because they would always tell her, the laws say that we cannot do anything. And she would always say, well, then let's change the laws to protect the animals, to protect the children, to help the people. And that's what she would do. And I love that idea. There is nothing we cannot do, there is nothing we cannot approach when it comes to peace, to humanity, to protecting children, to protecting families, and to protecting animals. We just need to take action. And I feel that's why I started my academic career with law school, because I felt that is going to help in a certain way to understand how processes work. And the people cannot tell you that's not possible because we all know everything and anything is possible. And working now as a global peace ambassador is the favorite thing I've ever done in my life because we need peace. And there are a lot of regions that don't have the bare minimum. For us, it's sheer not understandable that there are people that don't have access to drinking water. If you think about it, what we do with the water, like in our wonderful lives here, we literally wash the cars with water, and we water our wonderful gardens. And then there are people that don't even have water to drink. And that is impossible in this year and in this very wealthy global economy. So we need to really see that people get access to water. And so I'm very closely working with the Committee for Access to Clean and Healthy Water at the UN, because we really need the Commission to reach every person of the planet to have access to water. And peace, when it comes to peace, that's the most relevant thing. And I have a good way to bring the important people on board, because they see everything as a business, right? And I understand they are smart, they make a lot of money, and everything is a business for them. So, how can I involve them into peace? How can I involve all the billionaires and the gazillionaires into peace? Well, it's very simple. If we have peace in the world, we have a peaceful world with a lot of wonderful regions where trade can happen and where businesses can flourish. So everybody is on the same board when you make it in a way that it makes sense for them. The people, we all want peace. But then the businessmen, they need to understand why they need peace. And so I bridge these worlds because I'm a man for the people. I'm always there for the people for one reason. The royal family always had the position to help others. And for me, it's a good example. I don't need a lot of things myself. I mean, I like to eat. I like to eat healthy. I like to do my sports. I like to travel to bring people together and to help the causes. I like to support charities. So for me in person, there's not anything fancy I need or I would crave. So I dedicate my life to helping others. And therefore, I'm a messenger for peace. And as a peace ambassador, I bring people together and I let them know how to establish peace. And I developed a great secret, and I'm always getting applause at the UN or when we do summits worldwide when I share the secret of peace, because it's the most simple thing. I tell everyone, do it like my family does since more than 1,000 years. When there is a conflict, you go and set a meeting. And that works for you at home too. If you have if you have an issue happening with your wife, with your husband, with your family, with your children, with your parents, or maybe at work. So it's a magical secret how to bring peace into any situation, small or big one. What you do is you set up a meeting and you get a promise from everyone participating and make this a heartfelt promise that everyone walks in neutral. Maybe to even show a sign of that, everybody has a blank piece of paper and goes into this meeting neutral, leaves the backpack of everything that was carried along the last period of time out, leave all the memory what happened out, and have this piece of paper and a pen and write down you, what you want, and the person the conflict is cooking with, what they want, and not bring in anything from the past. No grievance, no bad experiences. And then we do work with this royal blank sheet theory I developed. Then we can come to a solution, because we just go into fixing what we want in the future, because this paper contains what do we want, not what the issue was. And there is always a way to come to a common ground and middle ground and then resolve everything. That's such a beautiful way to bring peace to any situation. And I developed that, and it had brought a lot of peace to many different regions on a big scale, also on a small scale. When families had an issue, you know how things can happen and go the wrong way, and things can be fixed. And that's also one of the things people tell me. Prince Mario-Max, you're such a fixer. Yes, I am. When I see something wrong, I fix it. And when I see injustice, I jump in and do the right thing. I mean, I put my phone up and call the right person, or I write a letter to the leader. And I'm in a very lucky position because I'm heard, and I'm widely heard, and I have a massive platform. So I also own a news organization, and that means when there is a problem, I can give people a voice, and I can address things that need to be a little adjusted. And I love this because that way, through the media, through the public voice, I can help people and I can help causes. And a very dear cause to me, I'm hosting their event again in December, on December 17th. That's a safe haven for the newborns, and this saves babies. And we've saved over 500 babies. And the organization, for example, works in a way that we put plaques on fire stations and on police stations and on official buildings where mothers get a very uncomplicated and quick way to connect the baby if they cannot feel capable of taking care of their baby into the hands of families that really would love a baby. And when we remember all the rough headlines where a baby was found on a bus station or at a church door, this is very dangerous because a lot of babies lost their lives. And through our organization, we had more than 500 mothers reach out for help, and the babies got all into very loving families, and everything was safe and made a lot of sense. And so we could save a lot of lives. And this is one of the charities I love. Or another charity I treasure is the Families First organization, where we help families that struggle to restructure their life. You know, maybe some of the parents has an addiction or lost their job, and they're in a very dark point, and we guide them through into getting a healthy family life and a job and being caring for the kids. And so it gives kids a completely different chance. And I just love to support kids because they're the most innocent and sweet, and they really deserve all a very bright future. So this is another initiative of those I support. And I'm always taking on new causes. So cancer charity, I do a lot of cancer research charities because I know we still need this cure urgently. And that's how I dedicate a lot of my time to causes that make sense to me. And I do not take a day off personally. It is what it is. I know some need their day off or they want it. I don't feel the need to do so. And so I endlessly work on my causes and on the things that matter for me. And my new project is I have seen that so many moms and dads and grandmothers and grandfathers, they have to leave the house because they don't feel safe in their homes anymore. Because when they fall, who would find them and call the ambulance? So I teamed up with this great gentleman, Sumit, and Sumit developed a new technology. And I love tech, everything tech. I'm fascinated, right? And he developed this new technology, and it's the size of a little speaker. And you just plug it in, the outlet, and it sits on your desk and it monitors in the entire room and through the wall a second room if someone falls or if their heart rate and their breathing is irregular. If that happens, it would send a text message to the children or to the nephew. And if they're busy at work, it would send an alarm call to alarm.com so they can send an ambulance to the house. And this technology works on a radar base, has AI built in. And because it's radar, there is no camera sneaking into your home. So the privacy is completely kept. And I thought this is going to be a great way that people can stay in their homes way longer because they're safe at home and they're monitored by this little device. and it's called cherishhealth.com. And so I took on to support this technology, and I want to bring it to every household in the world that our older generation is safe. So that's a complete new project in my world. So you see, it's all about people, and I want to be known and leave my mark in the long lineage of my royal family as the one who helped a lot of people and who made their life better, and also as someone who brightens their day. And when you said this at the beginning of your show, Kim, your show is about brightening the people's days and their lives. I was very happy. It made me smile because I'm like, I'm at the exactly right show.
That's so good. Yeah, my word, I love your heart. I love your heart. Your heart is all about people and it's so pure. You know, there's people that talk about helping people, there's people that talk about peace or talk about clean water, and then there's people that do something about it. And you're a do something about it person, which I love. Clean water is a big passion of mine as well. I've done a lot of work in Haiti and Burkina Faso and West Africa and some other countries. And it is a crime to me that there are people that have to walk miles to get water, or even if they get water, it's contaminated. And so it makes them sick and people die because of bad water. And all I have to do is turn on my tap and I have clean water. And it's such an injustice to me that
Yes.
it's so easy for us and so time consuming and hard and impossible for so many people in the world. And I know the UN has a great water initiative that I really appreciate. And they've got a goal for everyone to have clean water in the next few years. And I support that goal wholeheartedly because it is so necessary. It's funny how we can take for granted the things that we have in life and not even think about people who don't have the same things we do. And so I appreciate you so much and your heart so much that you really care. So I want to talk a little bit about peace because people have talked about peace for a long time and think that it's unattainable. The world peace is unattainable. But when I've heard you talk about it before, it's different than I've ever heard anybody talk about it. Because when you talk about it, you talk about the fact that peace is really something everybody wants.
Everybody wants,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. And it's
And
something that benefits everybody.
correct. And the only ones that stop the peace process, or the only ones that slow it down, have an economical interest, because it's the rough rule of this world: always follow the money. And when you see that there are places where peace is not happening, then you just need to see who makes money of that conflict. And these people need to be convinced and can be convinced, but with a sit down, how people can really have a great time by a peaceful region being good for the business, for the economy. And this is the point where I had a lot of people turned around into, okay, we can also make our money in a peaceful region because it's more consumers and we can develop and we can do all these things that make more money. And that's a way to do conflict. Yes, it makes money, a very dark money for some people, but peace, that's way better because a prosperous region, like when we look at the US, in the US, there hasn't been a war forever, right? And it's so prosperous, it's so well doing. So when we have regions that are prosperous, that are peaceful, it's widening where all these great, smart business people can do their business. So this way, because it's always linked to a monetary thing, this way we can really bring this to the regions that have problems. And the people always want peace, and the people are always kind and nice, and no matter their background, they will never fight with each others. I feel it's absolutely in the human soul, in the human body, in the human heart, that we do not want to harm anyone, and we are all compassionate about our fellow human beings, sisters and brothers. And I know it's only coming from a manipulative dark source whenever there is no peace. And I don't have any understanding for it, and I don't appreciate it. And therefore, at the end of the day, the power is always with the people, with every one of us. And if we say no, if we say we don't accept it, then there is a way to stop it. And it was very interesting when you said, and I thank you for the compliment, that I'm a doer and I do it for real and I go and have my meetings and I fly there and I help the people and I fix things. This is on the one hand side an important thing, and on the other hand side, I know that everyone who is very busy and might not be able to go to these things like I do, or travel, or put that much time into it, every little thing counts. Even if you start off putting your Facebook into a massive propaganda for peace and positive and nice, because all your social media is powerful. Everyone reaches, some have 200 friends, some have even 2,000 friends, some even have like 5,000, 20,000 friends. Everything is there in this social media world, and everyone has their little newspaper called John Smith's Facebook account or Doria Jackson Instagram, just to fantasize two names. But I'm just saying, in other words, everyone has their platform. And peace comes also from an inner state of mind. And one or the other thing I really think is important. The first thing is bullies and online bullies are the people that will always cause conflict on a small or big scale. So whenever somebody posts something disrespectful or so, I always let them know in a personal message if it wouldn't be more appropriate to spend the time on something good, on something nice. And in my social media, I have the nicest people. I never ever see anything mean or rough or unfriendly. So I attract people that think the same way, the good, the positive, upwards, onwards, forwards. And the doers and the makers find each other. I call it the good people network. And so I want to have as many people as possible in this good people network. And I want to also fingers pointed out on all the bullies and all the mean people that do all these mean comments, because why would they do that? They're so unhappy themselves. And they just need to be woken up and told, don't spend your time with saying, oh, that dress looks really tacky, or this is showing way too much. So don't post mean to anyone's pictures or posts. Do something productive in the same time and post on a good initiative. Oh, there is a water initiative we can support. Oh, there is a toy drive we can help kids. Use your time and your platform for the good only. Negative thoughts, negative posts, and negative expressions are the biggest waste of time. And a lot of people get trapped into this and they're spiraling downwards in a bad mode. And once they start to search the light and help the lightful and go for a good thing into their lives, into their expression, into their write ups, they're gonna spiral upwards. They're gonna elevate and they're gonna take a lot of people with them. And we've had the situation where in a very rough neighborhood, very, very rough neighborhood, very dirty, people did not care about the street. It was on the outskirts of New York City, very, very bad neighborhood. And we saw it as a very good opportunity, not as a bad neighborhood. And I was there with mom, and mom was so funny. She brought rubber gloves and gave every kid rubber gloves. And she says, so now let's clean up the street all together. And then everybody gets ice cream and cookies and candies. And everybody was so motivated. And after a few hours, the street looked like a nice street, could be like in any very well kept, beautiful neighborhood of the US. And then the parents of these kids came and say, that was unique, princess, very unique. And she said, well, that's the way to do it. Like, let's look for piece by piece, street by street, block by block to make it nice because the kids are spending the time here and it changed an entire street, it changed an entire neighborhood. And that's something we completely did off the records, off the cameras. And so my family does a lot of things that are not even visible. because we care. And I feel that was a good sample of what can be done by letting people know how to spend their time. And when we do good things, it makes one very happy. And I'm a very, very happy person. I wake up so happy and so grateful. And it's all these little things and experiences and news that make me happy. And when we create a wave where we take one or two people on our hand, then that's already three people, right? And they do the same thing. So it's going to be like this wave of changing lives for the better and just caring about people. And I think that is a beautiful thing to do in life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I love the way you just said it because it is so true. You know, a couple things there. One, I'm a huge fan of your mom. I think I'm her biggest fan in the entire world. I'm a huge fan. She is an extraordinary lady who does extraordinary things. And I can see where you get your big heart because she obviously has a big heart for people and for animals, for nature, for the world. And so she's amazing. And what a great thing to do to go into that neighborhood. And you were talking about online bullying, and I think maybe what people need to do is kind of take a look at their social media or what the things that they post and ask themselves why. Why
Yeah.
am I being negative? Why, what, you know, what is driving you to write the things that you write? And maybe if you figure out why you want to go to the negative, why you want to say something bad, maybe you'll figure that out and realize that it's so much more fun to say something good. It's so much more uplifting, not just for the people that are reading it, but for you. It's more uplifting.
Yes. 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 I think we can post if we want to go to all the things that are like on the edge. Why don't we go to the fun stuff? There is a lot of comedy and there is a lot of criticism that comes in a comedic way, in a fun way. And I feel this does so much better than going into the rough, really like fightful, really, really hateful things that people post or share. So when they take a twist and make it something where people will also smile about this and approach this in a different way, then it will not cause any anger or this dark cloud then floats over people and over certain accounts. And some people just get into a very dark mode, and I feel so sorry for them. And it's very important that we always tell the kids and everyone that is a victim of this online harassment and bullying and mean that it has nothing to do with them at all. And when I read something written about somebody that is really dark and mean, I always judge the one who wrote it, never the one whom it is about, because it tells me a lot of who would express something so dark. And the one that is written up in that way, I feel like, oh my God, they got hit so badly. I'm so sorry for them. So it most likely has always the polar opposite effect than the people that put out the dark things wish for. And it comes mostly from a very dark mindset. And we need to teach people that whatever others say about you or what others write about you doesn't change who you are. A good example is a $100 bill, right? You have this $100 bill, that's a lot of money. It buys you amazing meals, or you can do whatever with this, like huge things, right? You can give a donation that's a relevant donation, or you can book a course, or there's a lot of things you can do with $100. And if you have this $100 bill and go out in the mud and in the snow and in the rain and like put it through the dirt and then drag it through the sand and then step on it and do whatever you want with it and put it back up in your hands, it's still a $100 bill. And you can still go to the supermarket and buy yourself wonderful food, the one you like, right? So, whatever people do to you, it doesn't change who you are. And I think that's a good example. No one changes the $100 bill. Your worth, your value. Same thing happens with you. Somebody writes about you, a neighbor talks about you, a colleague chats about you. It's their problem, not yours. It doesn't change you. And one needs to have this confidence and strength. And sometimes it's hard, I know, but we always need to balance back to that. Nobody can take our value, nobody can take our human being, our serenity. And that's the most important message about this.
I love that. I love that comparison with the $100 bill going through the ringer, and but it doesn't change who you are. What somebody says about you does not change who you are. I did
Yeah,
this thing where I wanted to figure out the true meaning of love. So I
yeah,
dedicated a year to figuring it out. I took this 2,000-year-old poem, love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast. Maybe you've heard it. And I took one word or phrase a month. And the things that I found out about love just blew my mind, rocked my world. Things that we're taught about love that are not love, things that we're not taught about love that we should be. And one of the things that was so big is really kind of what you're talking about is we kind of tend to put labels on people. And with politics, you're this or you're that, or we put these names to people, but when it comes down to it, I'm Kim and you're Prince Mario-Max. Like we're people. We might belong to a club, or there might be an interest we're interested in, but we're not the labels that people put on us. And so often it's because of a label that somebody's put on you that somebody then reaches out in a negative way because you put
yeah,
a label on you, right? So people,
yeah. You're right. You're right. And neutrality, that's very important too. And like in my family, we have run countries as a head of state for more than 1,000 years, right? It's like 1,100 years. And if we look into that, how was this possible? And I'm a big fan of studying that history. It was possible because we would always be able to talk to everyone and not take anything as granted, and also approach every idea with a humble openness. And there is no right or wrong, there is always something to learn. And for me, every day I wake up, every day I go have meetings, every day I do my research, but also my articles or my shows or host my events. Every day I learn. And there is so much to learn. And I'm very blessed by having this interest in me. It's like a burning fire. I want to know more about the world. I want to know more about people I meet. So I'm very interested in this world and I care. And I feel when you're open, just what you said, and don't come with your prefixed opinion, then things are amazing. And I saw this traveling. There are so many different areas in the world that are completely different. They're structured differently, right? They look different, they talk differently, their legal setup is different, the courts are different, their religions are different, their politics are different. And I go in there without any opinion that I know better, because I don't. Or with any opinion that where I live it is better. No, that's not my right. I go there and I immerse into what's happening there. And it's very interesting and very teaching that there are regions in this world that do everything completely different, and it's perfectly fine for them. And they're happy there, and it balances out, and they don't need any change from anyone. And it's fascinating to hear these things. And for example, when I was in Japan, everything is very different in Japan. And I heard discussions in the Western Hemisphere where they literally said, what are we going to do with Japan on the world politics level? They need to be like us and we need to change things. And then a smart person said, no, just leave them alone and they can do exactly what they have done for a long time in history. It's perfect. When I was there, I'm like, wow, everything is different and it's perfect. And this is, I feel, something very important. We need to respect others, how they do it, and not push our ideas on anyone, because there are a lot of great things that are just great how they are, and they don't need to be understandable. They don't need to be anything what we know, and they're just so different cultures, different religions, different ideas. I respect those, and hands off, I don't want to interfere. I want to learn from every culture and I want to help where it's needed. So if a great working culture, society, tribal system has so much poverty they cannot have clean water, so what's my thing to do? We need to get them the water machinery because they don't have technology to do so. But the rest of their lives, oh, they don't need anything we think we need. They're doing perfectly fine, but they need the water. So let's figure out what people really need and not come with the overall machinery that everything is the same. That's not needed and that's not interesting. I would not like that if the entire world is the same. How boring.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's interesting that you even brought that up and said that because I run a nonprofit organization, and my opinion is I partner with people in their own country,
Yes,
understand the language, they
yes,
understand the culture,
the
they
culture.
understand the real need, right? And so often you see organizations come in, well-meaning organizations come in and say, well, this is what you need, and this is how you need to do it. And I just think if you take the approach that my organization takes, where you come in and you go, what do you need?
Yes,
How can we help you? You know,
yes,
instead of our way is the best way, so you have to do it our way. Because
exactly,
how do you understand the real need unless you're there? How do you understand the culture unless that is your culture? So
exactly.
I love what you had to say. I love Japan. I love learning from other people. I think the more you can travel, like it just enriches your life, and you see that it's not necessarily better than what you're doing, not worse than what you're doing. It's just different. We all
Yes.
look different, and different's good.
Yeah,
It
different is good, yes.
yeah.
My social media, by the way, I post pretty much everything where I go to do the charities. So I post a lot on social media, and it's actually a lot of work, and I do it for a reason. I want that people can travel with me and go with me to these special events. And I'm hosting the largest gala of Hollywood. It has more than 1,000 guests and a red carpet with 300 reporters. So it's a very big event. And it's on the Oscar weekend next year again. And I hosted it this year too. And why did I want to share this with people? Because our focus were the beautiful firefighters from Los Angeles that were working so hard and risking their lives to protect the people. And we were awarding them and we had them up on stage and we wanted to give them a beautiful moment because they're standing there in the flames and in the dust and in the toxic fumes working for us. And then all of a sudden, I can put them on a stage and invite them to a gala meal and really get them the applause they deserve. And so my social media is kind of a travel with Prince Mario-Max to see what things are out there that are interesting, that might deserve a spotlight. And I know not everybody can travel as much as I do because I travel for work, right? It's part of my global peace ambassador being. But I am always opening up my life and my world for everyone to travel with me through the social media, through my posts, through my articles. And as you said, I write a daily column. And you yourself know, being in the public eye, it's a lot of work. So I write my daily column, and it's also on Google News if you put in Prince Mario Max. And there you see always the newest topics and the newest things where I feel a spotlight needs to be put to. And this gives us a big sense of a community. And I always love to hug my online community by the meaning of they're such wonderful people. And I think we are like an extended royal family because for me, royal family is nothing about being born into that. I have this by accident. Yes, my mother is a princess, my father is a prince. But on the other hand side, everybody can become royalty by what they do. And I love the word American royalty because America is so open and equal for everyone. And I love that you can show nobility and noble heart and elevated heart where you help people and we're there for people. And I call everyone that is a good person the extended royal family. because I want to hug them and they're part of what we stand for. So it has nothing to do with any birth or any privilege. It's a mindset. And that's what royalty is for me. It's a mindset. It's nothing about anything else than what we stand for, that we work together for the good, that we help people, that we are conscious, that we are good human beings. And that's royalty for me.
I love that definition of royalty. That is beautiful. And it takes us all, like you mentioned earlier, maybe you can't travel, maybe you can't do some of the things, whatever they happen to be, but you can do something. Everybody can do something, whether it's contributing to clean water, contributing to a cause they believe in, helping their neighbor with something, volunteering at their local soup kitchen, whatever it is. Everybody can do something, and if everybody did something, man, the world would be so much a better place. And there's something too about when you do go serve other people, it gets in your heart, it gets in your soul, and you recognize the beauty of the differences that we have, and you see everybody as valuable and nobody less valuable than any other person, no matter how much money they have or don't have, what they are wearing, where they're living. None of that matters. We all are equal. We all have the same value. And when you can recognize that, and by serving people, it makes it very easy to recognize that, because then you meet people. You meet people when
Yes,
you're not there,
yes.
right?
And I mean, money to a certain point that the basics are covered is very important, but the run for money can get ridiculous. And when you think the world is the same beautiful for all of us, because if you go to Central Park in New York City, that's the favorite spot for everyone, right? I love it. I go there, and then others love it. And some who have billion-dollar companies go in the same park and love it. So the beauty of life does not always have to do with money. And just going out in the nature and embracing the beauty of it is free and is the most gorgeous thing that balances you. And I also feel when you have a bad day, and you can get yourself a little treat to eat and go out in the nature. It always is very healing, very balancing, and it can get you on the right track. And also, people that are suffering a disease or that are weak or they cannot do the things at the moment they want, they can do a lot from their homes now. And I feel we get so lucky to live in the era of the internet because we can go everywhere in the world, and we can literally go on Google Maps and go down a road we always wanted to see. We go to Egypt, and then we do street views and we see the pyramids like we would walk there. And I feel we have the opportunity, even if at the state of maybe weakness or our body has to heal, or maybe we are old, we cannot travel that much anymore. Through the internet, if we know the basics, how to navigate, we can see a lot of interesting things. And I'm a lot online too. I like it because I do my research and I try to get an understanding of different parts of the world. So we're in a good era. And when it comes to AI, a lot of people are scared. And I feel it's important that we start to make friends with AI because it's one of these unstoppable things. And when we think about it, when the internet started, and some people said, like, I don't want to have anything to do with it, it's so important now, and the ones that were in early could succeed with it early. And now, when it comes to AI, it's good that we make friends with AI, because why would you make friends with the next most powerful thing there is in this world? So let's make friends with it, how we can use it, and how it can help us, and how it can make life easier. And so I feel there is always a chance in new technology. And when I was teaming up with Sumit for Cherish Health, the detector when you fall in your home, then we also had the question with the AI. And he had such a good idea because we said, let's put the AI in the device in the house. So the data doesn't go to some cloud where you don't know where it ends. So it's just in the device, and only the alarm call, if someone really falls or stops breathing, then the alarm call leaves the house, but never the data that the radar sensor sees in your house. And I feel when we are conscious about how to use technology, where to put our limits, where our data can go, that we can be very good friends with AI, with technology, and it will make our lives easier. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I agree. I personally love AI, I have to say. There's
Yes.
so many incredible tools out there. And I know that there's a fear, that some people have a fear of it. And I agree with you. Embrace it and learn it. If you,
Learn it. Yes.
you can have a fear of many things until you go there and are part of it. And then when you go and are part, you realize there's nothing to be afraid of. And one thing that AI cannot replace is humanity, is the human to human, the heart to heart. AI can never replace that. AI cannot love. And so those are the things that as people we should really be hanging on to. We should be leading with love and embracing each other and loving each other and appreciating each other and keeping humanity where it needs to stay. Then there should be no fear of AI because
Yes, and a very big message. Date offline. Don't date online. Date offline. And I'm saying this for a reason. So if you go to a club, your book club, clay club, go to the sports club, go to the fitness center, go to anywhere where you meet people that might have the same interest. If you meet in person, that's magical. Nothing can actually describe the energy. Nothing can compare to that. Your first impression and what you feel about another person. And online dating, that's a big problem because, first of all, it's so many people and it's so many promises and photo apps where people look different and say different things than they really are or manifest. So, the real impression of people can never be replaced. And I'm a big fan of real life meeting, even when it comes to love, romance, and partnership. Go to events. There are always people that want to meet people too. So going out because the prince doesn't come to the door on the white horse and knock, it's not happening. You need to go to events to meet your princess or your prince. You need to go out and you need to join the club or you need to go to the gym. You're going to find someone wonderful there, but definitely online is rough and hard. And I will be very aware of completely putting the energy on the online dating. It's more a game. It can work out, but often it's a lot of disappointment. So I'm always for offline dating, but that's just my personal opinion. Some are very good at the online game and love it and spend hours on it. I don't. And I encourage everyone to go offline, go into the world. The world is very fun, very great. The world smells great, feels great, tastes great, and the experiences you can see with your own eyes are just the most important ones.
my gosh, that's so true. That's such a good point. And with online dating, you can just swipe and swipe and swipe, and you're missing somebody wonderful.
It's so
Because
brutal. I mean, can you swipe away people? It's like a meat market. It's crazy
it
for
is.
me. It's
I
not my thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's nothing like face to face. And statistically, I don't know what the statistic is today, but it's a low number people that actually meet online.
Yeah,
Uh, Maybe it's rising, but it used to be a super low number. So meeting
I'm
face
sure it
to face,
is.
I
Yeah,
mean, that makes sense. You know, if you think about the people that you know and how they met, chances are they met face to face somewhere.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. That's the way to go.
yeah.
Now, yeah. And coming up, the next big things on December 11th, I'm hosting a Royal Christmas concert at Steinway Hall. I'm very excited. And then on the 17th, I'm hosting a New Haven for the Newborns, the kids charity in Palm Beach in Florida. Then I'm hosting the Strategic Economic Forum, the keynote speech in Miami at the beginning, later in November. And then in March, I'm hosting the largest gala of the West Coast in Hollywood. It's called the Luxury Gala. It's a non-profit gala on Oscar weekend. So there is a lot of exciting fun coming up where we all can meet live. And
Exactly.
of course, everyone's always welcome on my social media under Prince Mario Max, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. everywhere to follow and be part of my community, and so we can work together on the most relevant things. And I mean, I'm also doing business. I'm also a businessman, and I can also give people ideas of what I'm doing business wise. I've been always smart businessman, so I have an idea or two how things work there. And I am very, very happy to connect with many of you. And yeah, I think, Kim, you just put together such a beautiful platform, bringing the right people together that are supposed to meet. And we met in person. It was meant to be. And we connect. And you are such a master connector and such a light in this world. And I feel your show is very important. It's not just any show, it's a show that has relevance and that has importance because it encourages people and it brings them on the right way. And so many people watch your show and have an awakening what their life could be and can be, and then make it that life. So I love it. It's very uplifting and inspiring, the Kim Sorrelle show. So it's one of these shows that are important and that are there for a reason. And I congratulate you for having created this masterpiece.
Well, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you to say. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, connecting people, that's what it's all about, right? You know, going back to the don't be afraid of AI, it's all about people.
It's
World's
all
all,
about people. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Kim, that was a pleasure to speak to you. And thank you for having me on your show. And I can't wait when we get all the feedback of everyone seeing it and putting our both communities together. And definitely the show, the moment it's out, I'm also going to write it up on my column and put it all over Google News that the new episode is out. So we could do a lot of things together. And I hope there is only the one or the other person that can benefit of what we had to share, you and me, and then it's already a great show. And I'm thinking it's going to be many, many people that have this
Yeah, yeah.
experience.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to know you. I like I said, I'm a big fan of your mom's, but I happen to also be a fan of yours. I love your heart. I love what you do. So thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Your Prince Mario-Max Schaumburg-Lippe. Bye for now.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for joining us today. And I just pray until we see each other again that you keep your heart open and you live your love loud.